Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I am your host, Brandis Daniel.
I'm your co-host, Sybil Amuti, and we are live from South Africa with a guest. State your name and where you are from.
Sanbonani, everybody. That is Zulu for hello, everyone. And my name is Samke Mhlongo, and I am originally from KwaZulu-Natal, so Shaka's land, but now live in Johannesburg, where we are.
I love it.
She spilled the beans. We're in Johannesburg.
With the Amara retreat
Yes.
at the, what's the name of the resort? This is the
Valley Lodge.
Valley Lodge, which is freaking beautiful.
It's everything. Amazing. If you come here, this is one, I feel it's a great place to visit. Would you say it's one of the places that you love?
I think it's quite good. I'm a little disappointed on the Wi-Fi and the connectivity.
Oh, yes.
You know, the zebras, the landscape, everything is great, but I don't want you guys thinking that we still don't have popping Wi-Fi, because we do, babes.
Come on.
No, but here's the problem. People over here in South Africa, like streaming on Netflix. That's the problem.
Yes, we
But
stream.
it's like, it's 200 of us.
It's our
Everybody
guests.
can't be on.
Our guests are streaming Netflix here, and it's soaking up all of the
Wi-Fi
power.
But you guys should be streaming ancestral connections,
Speak.
not
Exactly.
Netflix. So get off the internet
And connect.
get grounded.
Come on. Because that's what we're here for. I just want to shout out Tori and Victory, who brought together the amazing experience at Imara Retreat. And if you are not already connected to Imara Retreat or the Colored Girl, be prepared for 2020. I know it's going to be amazing. I'm excited for that announcement.
I cannot wait. And then they're going to be at the Great Girlfriends Conference.
They are going to be at the
Tori
Great
and
Girlfriends
Victory.
Conference.
So that's coming up June 13th through 15th in New York City. Let me tell you, these tickets are getting low. So if y'all still want to come, you better grab your tickets before it sold out.
Yes. One of the gifts of the experience that we've had is being to have a connection that I've never had. This is my first time in Africa.
Mine too.
Not really sure on what to expect, how we would be received. Us trying to come with all our African garb and our braids. Let me tell you something.
And then you find that South Africans have fake hair, honey.
You see?
Full lace wig, fake lashes, fake nails, and we are not wearing dashiki nothing.
Nothing. So we've had the beautiful gift of cultural exchange
Yes.
and dialogue
Yes.
and learnings that took me back to my room in tears and an overwhelming gratitude for what has been shared. And Samke, you gave us such a gift. So there was a panel yesterday, a conversation rather, with Kim Blackwell.
Yes.
And Samke, and they were speaking about growing your money.
Yes.
Samke kind of preached us around the church and back. Legit, Samke. With core principles, empowering questions, your personal story, and then later in the day, an ancestral apology.
Okay, we going too far. And not to mention later on that night, a full-on conversation that broke down boundaries. So we got... Okay, so we got a lot.
We need a series.
Right, we got a lot. We have a lot
All of that
happening here.
But that's the abundance of this experience, and I want the listeners to understand that was just like moments. It wasn't
That was one day.
The bouncing has been it's been overwhelming. But for that reason, we wanted to bring Samke to you all. We're in over 100 countries listening to our podcast because Samke said, "What can I bring?" I thought this was a valuable question you asked me. We were talking to the lady. What can I bring to the U.S. market that's different? And what I thought was so valuable, Samke, was that those principles that you shared yesterday are global principles. We're all still trying to figure out how to do our money, how to be smart about it, ask the right questions in our head that will lead us to the right intellect in person when we have to meet with an expert.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I want to start out with your story, though.
Yes.
Can you give us your background story?
Sip
How you- Yo, we got a little tiny spread.
We
Not
got
a
a
big
little tiny
spread. We got a
spread.
little something. We got a little something right here. But give us your story about, like, how did you even get to this place where you are a wealth coach?
Okay, so professionally, I was a banker for 7 years, and there had come a point in time in my banking career where I could look at an individual's balance sheet or two individuals' balance sheets, and I could tell you what race they are with like 95% accuracy.
Wow.
Right? So it then started bothering me when I saw that you can have the same an African person with the same qualifications as a white person, earning the same amount of money in the same position, but their balance sheets would be very different. And I'm not even talking about, the white person had an inheritance, just in terms of behavior and the impetus to create assets, collateral, and wealth, whereas more and more of my African clients were buying big cars, were being showy, were spending large, we're having what we call black tax, which is supporting family and extended family, because a lot of them, maybe you find they're the first ones or the only ones with a tertiary qualification, earning a 7-figure salary, and they have to help back home. So I thought to myself, what is it about us and my people that makes us behave in a certain way, right? And also, after 2 or 3 conversations with my African clients where I said, I don't want to see you at the horse racing this year unless you've got an investment property. And then he goes and does it. I was like, wait, the attitude is right. Because if the attitude wasn't right, he would have gone anyway. So I had a client who went from busting his 7-figure bonus every year to buying properties like 2 at a pop every year.
Wow.
Right? And so I thought to myself, it means the gap is around the education. And how do I package the education in a way that doesn't say, I've just crawled out from under a rock, I smell like damp, and I'm telling you to save. Babes, if you are what saving looks like, I ain't trying to be you.
But that's real.
You understand?
That's what they teach us over and over again, to save. But if that's
don't
the reflection, then I don't want that.
Yeah, but the people that are telling you that they look nasty, you're just like, no, you don't look like you're enjoying your life. You don't look like you get enough sun. So why do I want that? No, I'd rather follow, the big superstars who are living wild, spending wild, and they look happy. You don't look happy.
Right.
So I had to then say, okay, cool. I was doing my master's, my MBA, and our academic director said, your dissertation should answer a question you've always wanted an answer to or wondered about. And I've always wondered about the different financial behavioral practices of Black people, African people versus white people, right? So in doing that study, I then did my literature review, and the more I read, the more I realized that in South Africa, the least financially sophisticated and literate person is the Black female. The lowest earning is the Black female. And now there's a proliferation of Black female-headed households, because when your man is tripping you, now you tell him, tech, which is South African for get the out.
Okay.
You raise your babies, and you can't keep it moving.
Whereas before, South African women would stay.
Yes.
No matter what.
African women, getting divorced. Your mother would tell you, you got married, men are all the same. He's cheating, but is he beating you? He's not beating you. So, what are you complaining about?
That's a Black American trait as well.
Yes.
I've heard that many times over from aunt. Does he have a good job? Does he bring a check home? But he's not beating you, so stay. That's another podcast,
So what are you complaining about? You know what I mean?
But true talk, yes.
And again, that's so interesting that there are these commonalities where you guys haven't been on the continent for years and years and years, but that orientation is still there. And I like picking up the threads that are similar, because we think there's more that is not similar.
Oh my gosh.
So than there is that is similar.
Much
So much alike.
Okay, we're going to get to that later, but
It'll be for our
we're
series.
so much alike. And last night, I'm going to let you finish telling this, but last night, you have no idea what you guys just sitting at that table did for me. I will never, ever interact with an African woman or man the same.
No. Oh, you educated us on so many levels.
I just want you to know that. But we're gonna let the great girlfriends in on that. But go ahead and finish. So you did your project.
Yes. Did that, and then I said, okay, let me then test if she then suffers from over indebtedness. Because if she's earning the least, is the least financially sophisticated, is carrying all these big burdens, because you don't find a lot of households where the single income household is male-headed. You don't find a lot of male single parents. So imagine this perfect storm. I don't know how to work my money as well as the man does.
Yes.
I've got more responsibilities on a day-to-day basis. And I earn less than him.
Yes.
Yes. All things being equal.
Yes.
It's the perfect storm. And guess what? The banks are smart. They've got systems that say, okay, you're getting a regular salary. Okay, you're going a little bit over in terms of your credit. I'm going to start sending you SMSs, offering a loan. I always tell people, when you see those personal loan SMSs coming hard and fast, it is not Jesus answering your prayers. It is the system saying we detect that you may need some liquidity and we'll take advantage of it and still penalize you with high interest rate because we know you've got a high risk of default. So I'm going to try to recoup my money as quickly as possible. That's what high interest rate is. So then I said, okay, cool. My study confirmed that. But in my mind, the woman that didn't know how to handle her finances was the woman sitting in the rural areas selling cabbages and lollipops for a living. I didn't know that, according to my study, she was between 25 and 40, in a full-time job, earning between 250,000 and 750,000 rand per annum, which is 50,000 US dollars. Okay, that's proper.
Yeah.
And she's got a tertiary education, and she's upwardly mobile, meaning that in her home, she's the one who's sort of going beyond breaking barriers, breaking borders. And I was like, damn, Gina, that's me.
Wow.
And that is my friends.
Yes.
And that is my sisters and my cousins. And we are basically in this perfect storm and we don't realize it. And yet here I am sitting in this bank that looks after the top 1% of the country, waking up every day to help them preserve and grow their money.
Yes.
Whereas my sisters are stuck in this turnstile of wealth. Effort, activity, but no growth.
Oh,
girl.
effort, activity, but no growth. Now, someone is sitting in their car at their desk going, raising their hand because that's me, because so many of us have, in generations, it's generational, have gone through effort, activity, and no growth. And then we inherit that mindset of effort, activity, work hard.
Yes.
Forever, activity, do what you can to get ahead.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, you have no growth of the money that you spent years to make.
Yes.
One of my mom's friends said to me one time, I'll never forget this. She said she was at the end of her life, and she was talking about money, and she said, I've probably made millions. And I was like, you actually probably have made millions. She's like, well, the course of my life, I'm sure I've been a millionaire, at one point, but I've never seen millions. How much do we earn over the span of our life that we don't even see? You get that? And it reminded me of how much effort, activity, and no growth.
Because we get educated in school to earn an income.
Yeah.
We get taught at the home to go earn an income.
Yes.
But who's teaching us how to keep it?
I'm going to knock you off the sofa.
Pick you up. Get up. I need to know the secrets. I'm a ruler. Right. Like seriously.
I mean,
seriously.
Yeah.
And the difference is, like you said, with the 1%, the education is happening there and the preservation.
Yes.
Because they have people preserving.
They have people who wake up to keep it for them.
Yeah. So it's the rich staying rich and the poor staying poor.
Yes. So then
comes this superhero with a cape, and her name is Samke.
Is myself. And God had to, I knew it in theory, and I saw it at a distance, but I wouldn't have had the conviction to leave the comfort of my cushy job. We're always hosting clients over champagne. That's why it's so difficult for me, as an sidebar, to date, because there's very little a man can do for me in South Africa that I haven't seen, babes. I got paid to drink the finest champagne.
Y'all have to see her face right now. I was trying to literally put this on video, but I realized I'm out of freaking.
I got paid to live like the 1%. Yeah. Listen to my job was to impress the 1%.
Yes.
So I got paid to show the 1% what they haven't seen.
Yes.
So who are you?
Yes. Come on.
Do you understand?
On. Yeah.
Anyway, it wouldn't have made sense for me. I wouldn't have had the conviction to leave my job to do this had it not kicked me in the gut. So I can feel the fear that overwhelms you when the kids are coming home from school and there's nothing to eat. I can feel the fear that overwhelms you when you are literally counting down to month end. That rent is due. Those debit orders are coming. And you are praying, you are fasting, you're like, Jesus, reveal yourself. And how did I find myself in that position? Because at 25, I had 2 kids. Porsche Boxster, drop top, latest edition, honey, Tiptronic, and a double-story house in a Gulf estate. Like, I was the face of black privilege.
Let me tell you something. You could have been bawling. Wait a minute, did y'all just hear that? A drop-top Porsche.
Yes.
A two-story home on a Gulf estate.
Yes. 2 kids, husband. I had so many staff members in my house used to throw like a year-end party because I had a gardener, pool man, 2 house executives, and a driver.
Wow.
I don't drop my kids off at school.
Yeah.
Me. No, babes. Had a driver.
I love it. You all have to see and feel her energy right now. It would absolutely blow your mind. I'm telling you, because it's real. But and like you said,
yes. You know, I was that person that I only cooked on Sundays, and even then, you know, I'm just like Food Channel. Everything is really chopped up. Auntie, defrost the chicken, please. Auntie number 2, chop the carrots. And I just come and I sort of mix and, you know, life was beautiful from the outside.
Yeah.
And the more ugly it got on the inside, the more I wanted the validation and the affirmation of the outside that my life is good. So the social media started being more popping, started, you know, showing off more because I was trying to convince myself, Samke, how can you not be happy?
Yeah.
When you have all of this.
All of that stuff.
But I realized, you know, there's no substitute for respect.
None.
There is no substitute for respect. It doesn't matter the materials you have, it doesn't matter the comfort you have. My psychologist at the time called it a fur-lined mousetrap.
Wow.
Yes. Fur-lined mousetrap. You are living in luxury, but you're in bondage.
Yes.
Bondage in terms of how far your career can grow. Bondage in terms of what friends you can keep. Bondage in how loud, how strong your voice can be. Right? Bondage in terms of how much your presence can be felt. And then you start getting a language like you're being too much.
Too much.
Yes. I was being called every day at 5 p.m. Why are you still at the office? You do know that you don't actually need to work. Come home. Go look after my babies while I cut the check, because mine is multiples of yours. And looking back, I understand how for someone else, that would have been comforting.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to name, shame, trash anyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just here to say it wasn't for me.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it wasn't what I had contracted to when I signed that marital declaration.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So,
Because he knew who he married.
Yes.
Ahead of time.
Well,
There's
so
no
I
way
thought.
this wasn't. All of this it wasn't even partially alive. This woman, this being, this body of person had a life and a pulse well before. So he was aware of what was on the inside of you. But I also understand how the enemy tries to attack our purpose.
Yes.
And will use things that are valuable to us.
Yes.
Relationships to try to.
It took a lot to leave that marriage, which is how I found myself in a position where I couldn't even make it to the end of the month. And it took a lot to leave the man I had loved since I was 19, and I still love. Through the Tyler Perry style divorce, custody battles, money's being held back, assets, I still love him. But I now love myself enough to know that he does not deserve me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
I love takeout. But I love myself to know that I deserve better than takeout on a regular basis.
Yes.
Thanks. So,
Thank you. Shoot. Hair swoop.
Exactly. That's why I was like, I gotta figure this out. Y'all see this little raggedy setup I got right here.
back
I have
to the
figure it out.
studio. So, when it hit me, and I thought to myself, okay, I've been blind to the realities that a lot of people are facing in the country. And I've got something that can help them, right? I didn't immediately leave my job. I started posting on Facebook. This is how you improve your credit score. If you're going to buy a car, make sure to check clauses blue, blah, blah, blah. If you're going to buy a house, make sure to calculate the rates, levies, taxes, bond transfer costs, moving costs, taxes before, not just, the deposit you're going to put down. Make sure that your interest rate is between this range because that, and it just started growing. And the more it grew, the more media personalities and producers started reaching out to me to say, can you come comment on that on TV? To this day, I cannot watch that first TV interview I did because I was talking crap The hair was whack. The outfit, I'm just like, no, please, what is this? But you need to start somewhere.
Yes.
Because I looked at that and I was like, oh, next time, I'm going to make sure my hair is like this, my outfit's like this. Oh, next time. And then, mind you, I'm not fooled or blind to the fact that I've risen so fast in this career path because it is a novelty to have a black, weave-wearing, lash-flapping, professional black woman talk about finance. So I know that competitive advantage is also finite, and I'm capitalizing on it. But anyway, the media appearances led to please come to speak to our organization, and I was speaking for like nice money. Like my first gig was like $1,000 for an hour. That was like 2/3 of my no, that was like half of my salary at the time. I was like, Jesus.
Yes, Jesus.
Yes.
I see you.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And the more I spoke, the more people came to say afterwards, you know, how do I engage with you one-on-one? And it happened after yesterday as well. How do I engage with one-on-one? And then when I was at the point where I was matching my salary in 2 hours on stage, and then I have to come every day up and down this office, and then my team leader starts tripping because I'm like, I need to take leave. I need to go make half my salary quickly during lunch. You know, it became difficult, so I had to make the jump. But I made the jump having established a demand, and having had cash flow and trusted, created a trusted brand. And my ex-employer was very supportive. To this day, they're very supportive. They're one of my clients. I converted my employer to my client.
I love that. Yes.
So that I could have more clients that look like my employer.
Yes.
So instead of being paid by one bank in South Africa, I'm now paid by every single one. Thank you.
Come on.
Wow.
Yes.
That is fantastic.
Diversification.
Yes.
I can do more with my time.
Yes.
And the more I did that, you know, it's just grown from the one-on-one consultations to the training, the workshops, the company workshops, private workshops that I host myself. I write for a magazine now, our biggest glossy that I grew up reading, and I'm now the resident finance columnist. And they said, please write in your voice. So I'm like, hello, darlings.
Yes.
I'm back.
Yes.
Today I want to talk about the side chick's rights to your late husband's estate.
You better
because she has rights, babes. So get your house right.
I love it.
If he doesn't have a will, she's coming for his
got rights.
pension according to the Pension Funds Act, number 55.
Wow.
Yes. And they said in your voice.
Yes.
You know how liberating that was?
Yes.
You do you.
And our biggest radio station in South Africa, commercial radio station, was also like, we want you to do, we've never in the history of the radio station had in the morning a business rap, and we want you to do it, but we don't want you to sound like other business reporters. We want you to do it in your voice.
Yes.
I was like,
Now let me ask you.
in my voice.
When you were younger and in school, did people try to silence that voice? Because you have such strength and courage and...
Were you always
encouraged to use your voice?
I was always encouraged in school, even at home.
Okay.
But I felt I wasn't heard because I wasn't raised by my parents. And I said this, I was raised by my gran, and she affirmed me, and my grandpa affirmed me. But, you know, even as a 4-year-old, I remember I was sitting at the dinner table, and my mom had me in uni. And so she came back one day, and we're sitting at the dinner table, my grandpa, myself, my mom, and I'm just like, in between chicken and peas, like, where's my dad? And she's like, I literally, in my memory, can hear the fork drop, like, ping! And she's like, what? I'm like, where's my dad? She's like, no, but here's your dad, you know? Because I'd grown up calling my grandma.
Yeah.
And my grandpa, Baba, which is dad. And I was like, no, but babes, I'm 4. He's your dad. And if you're my mom, the equation...
Right.
Yes, I mean, right.
He can't be my dad. Where's my dad? That is how I met my father for the first time. Because my mom got on the phone with his sister, who she was still in touch with, and said Samke wants to meet her father. We got on a taxi from Emadadeni, where I grew up, small country town, and rode 5 hours to Johannesburg, and all the way in the taxi, the whole taxi, which seats like 15, like a shuttle bus, 15 passengers, was listening to me say, I'm going to meet my dad for the first time. I'm so excited. Do you know your dad? My dad. Can you imagine? I had to ask this one. I had to ask this one to introduce me. She was lying, saying my grandfather's my dad. This one.
This is what you're saying?
Yes.
4 years old?
To the taxi.
Oh my God.
I was like, this one, talking about my mom. I'm sitting on her lap.
This one. And for those of you who can't see her, she's literally pointing over her shoulder with her thumb like this one, like the stranger. I'm sitting there holding it.
Oh my God.
That is so amazing.
So we get there, we get to my my grandparents' home, and they're all sitting there waiting to meet this like 4-year-old that they've heard about. And so as at the entrance of the door, my mom is telling me this, that I look in and my grand and my grandpa are sitting there, and then I quickly look up at her, I'm like, please don't tell me that's my dad. He's old. And then she pinches me, and my grand is just like, that is my grandchild. They have this big family feast for me. My dad was a medical doctor. He came in later. I'm sitting at the head of the table, and oh my goodness, I had been blabbering the whole time. When my dad came in, I was silent.
Oh my
I was just so in awe. And when I did my own personal reflection, I realized throughout my life, there were many things I didn't challenge my dad on. And when I look back, I realized that I didn't speak because I was afraid I'd chase him away.
Oh my goodness.
And in my marriage, there were many times I didn't speak because I was afraid I would chase him away.
Get out of here.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So Samke, because so she's like a rapper, but not a rapper. Like she drops these.
We need to let her do American rapper.
You feel free, but in any way, if you ever want to drop in your American accent on us, because we thought that was amazing, just drop it in, because our great girlfriends need to hear how we sound according to the South Africans. But I love how you did that. But she drops so many valuable.
She getting ready. She getting ready.
She's warming it, y'all. She drops so many valuable, and she like lays it on you, because that self-awareness is so amazing. It kind of gives you the grounding you need to gravitate this entrepreneurial journey with a message and a voice that you know will bring other people out of that same stage of, we keep patterning these behaviors and we run ourselves into bad habits. And next thing you know, we don't have any money. And then we think we can't figure out why we don't have the money, because we don't have the mind.
Yes.
And what I'm hearing you say is with this adjustment, this mental adjustment around who you are, what your voice means, and how you can use it to really ultimately navigate and give your life strength and give it voice.
Yes.
You bringing other women along the way.
Absolutely. And the reason I had to drop that and contextualize it is, I would say about 70% of my clients, I send them to a psychologist. They're not ready to make money.
Wow. What's the block?
They're afraid of saying what it is they actually want to do with their lives, because the Bible says your talent will sustain you.
Yes.
Start there. If you're not living your purpose, your talent, you'll be okay, but you won't be wealthy. Right? And a lot of them I can't plan when I don't know where you're going. And a lot of them can't even say what they want. How do I get you to where you're going when you don't even know where you're going, when you can't even say it? But my dad wanted me to be, I don't care. What do you want to be? Right? And if I can't help you, I send it to us. As I said, go unpack. Drop that caravan of expectations and disappointments and obligations. Come to me when you're truthful about what you want, because only then can we start you on your journey of wealth creation. I don't have any clients that don't have transformation, because if you're not willing to do the work, I'm not going to waste my or your time.
This is so good. I mean, this is so good, because the fact that the root of the problem has really actually nothing to do with money. Right?
Nothing.
It really has to do with what you believe.
And where I've made more, people always say to me, Samke, your ex should have given you a proper settlement. He's out here driving Ferraris and da-da. I said, babes, he would have crippled me if he'd given me my fair settlement. Because in finding my voice, I have already earned more than the settlement I was asking for.
Oh, you better say that. Oh, girl.
One more time from the top.
Yeah, one more time. One more time.
Yes.
I said, I am grateful that my ex didn't give me the settlement I was asking for. Because in having to figure things out, in having to fight out, and having to find my voice and speak in my voice, I have already, in the 2 years of being an entrepreneur, earned more than the settlement I was asking for. And this asset I now have, which is myself, will continue generating returns long after I've even forgotten what I'd asked for. So until you know what it is you were meant to do here on earth, you will not shine. I'm not shining because I know any more in terms of finances. I was one of hundreds of bankers on the floor. But it was my time. I stepped into my purpose. It was necessary. I got over the fear. I spoke my truth in my voice. I met a need, and the world welcomed me, because that is the law of the universe.
Yeah.
Okay,
That is the law of the universe.
in the black church, back in America, when someone says something like that, we say, "Preach, preacher." Preach, preacher. What do y'all say?
you.
What do y'all say?
Hallelujah!
Okay, hallelujah.
Come on, Pastor, come on.
Samke, how many of us are dragging our money through the emotional drama and trauma and taking our money and our relationships and just trashing the thing that could be so valuable towards building a wealth legacy? So many of us. And we don't understand psychologically those blocks, but I'm hearing you say the healthiest, wealthiest, best gift you give your clients first is a declutter.
Yes.
Like, let's get those wires uncrossed. There's a lot of wires that are crossed and twisted and you can't even know it. You need a rewiring so you can really own your purpose. We talk so much on The Great Girlfriends about what is your purpose. If you don't know it, stop, sit down, breathe, rest, journal, discover, dig deep, connect with God, and then can you step into. But what I'm hearing her say so passionately is because I think about people who track in and out of jobs, because we're not sure what we want to do,
Yes.
and we're finding ourselves over and over again. That money, the money doesn't stay back there and wait for you to come back. That money just gets dragged and dragged and dragged. So then they call you to say, "Make me rich."
We'll be right back after these messages. Hey, great girlfriends, we're inviting you to join us for the 2019 Doers and Disruptors Conference, June 13th through the 15th in New York City. This 3-day event includes exciting receptions, life-changing panels, incredible mastermind groups, connections, and more. This year, we had over 100 great girlfriends from around the world connect with like-minded women and create incredible memories. Now, it's your turn to be a part of this exclusive event. Visit our website, www.thegreatgirlfriendsconference.com. We cannot wait to see you there. Hewlett Market, a brand new shopping experience built just for you. From the best books, soothing aromatics, vegan-based hygiene, organic skincare products, and more, Hewlett Market has the essentials you need. Discover, shop, and share the best products all in one place. And all of these products were created by outstanding brands of color. From now until the end of May, visit www.hewlettmarket.com and use code TGG20 at checkout to enjoy 20% off select products just for being a great girlfriend. Shop Hewlett Market today. So shop and enjoy.
And you're like, wealth is not in the money, it's in the mind that brings the money, right?
Financial distress is a symptom. It's a headache.
Yeah.
And if we don't get to the cause, it'll keep coming back.
Yeah.
So I tell my clients, I don't want to be seeing your face in 2 years' time because clearly I'm doing something wrong. The way I engage with you should liberate you to continue without me.
Yes.
And flourish without me. Then I've done it right. That's why in my consultations I don't give answers. I give you the ability to ask the right questions because the answer is always changing.
Let's talk about those questions.
Yes, because yesterday someone got up and they asked a question. What did they ask? They asked, what should they be getting? Like, what types of funds should they get from the bank if they want to, like, grow their money?
Yes. So
and
she
you
said,
came back.
She said, I'm a 23-year-old, unmarried, no kids, have a steady job. Where should I be investing? And so I said to her, that answer will be different for different individuals in different economies.
Yeah.
What you should be asking, or should be doing rather, is improving the quality of your question. Why are you saving? What for? I said, for example, if you are saving for the sake of saving, it's not sustainable. Or if you are saving because you saw your parents go broke, lose their home, and you told yourself that you'll never be in that position, again, you're not going to create wealth. It's a defense mechanism. And remember, we spoke about the different stages of money management, which is either you are creating money, growing money, or preserving money. So if you're in preservation, okay, fine, save, preserve. But because of inflation, which is basically the rate at which the general prices of goods and services rise, you'll only ever be able to do the same with your money in 20 years' time as you're doing now. You know, if you're not investing smart and playing the market. But I said to her, if, for example, you are saving for a deposit on a home in 2 years' time, you've now given me a goal and you've given me a time frame. What we then do is, based on where you are now and what you have to invest now, right? And where you are going and in the time frame in which you need to get there, tells me the return you need to get. So think about a graph, right? I'm here, I've got $100. I need it to be $500 in 3 months' time, right? If I invest at 2%, let's say if that'll land me at, I'm not going to do the maths in my head right now, I've been sipping Amarula. And well, half of that, you know, it tells me that I need to increase the rate. You know, you can see it, the rate to get me to from where I am to where I'm going. That's all interest rate is. That's all yield or return or dividends or capital growth is. So once you know that, you're able to go into a professional and say, I have $2,000 to invest. I need it to be $5,000 in the next 3 years, but I can't afford to lose this money, meaning my risk tolerance is low. What can you give me? That is much better than saying, where do I save?
Write that down,
10 years ago, our MTN mobile telephone network companies were the best to invest in. Sasol, that does oil and gas, was the best to invest in. Oil prices over the past 10 years have declined from $100 up per barrel to $60 per barrel. The answer 10 years ago is not the answer today. So stop seeking answers. Rather seek the ability to ask the right questions, because then you'll always get the correct answer.
Okay, Samke, listen.
I'm telling you. Like, I just...
Bars after bars
after bars.
Hallelujah.
She just dabbed on it. Bars after bars after bars.
Yes.
Okay, because we could literally go on with this for a long... With you.
Be specific.
With you, to be
specific. With you.
For a long time. I want to pivot just a little bit. So we had the motherhood panel.
Yes.
And we were talking about motherhood, and that conversation went from, you know, what it's like to be a mom, still running a business, to past hurt from mothers that they've passed down to us, to, I mean, it really kind of like, it went everywhere a motherhood conversation could go, I think. And people were asking questions at the very end, and then Samke stands up and says something that literally brought us all to tears, something that none of us knew we even needed. And so now I'm going to open the floor. So can you kind of talk about what you were feeling in that moment?
Okay. Now I'm tearing up again. Anyway, it wasn't even from that moment. It was from 2 days before. 3 days before.
Okay.
2 days before. Yeah. Day one, when... we had the naming ceremony. And to be honest, you know, I'd seen Amara retreat on social media, but I was just like, where am I going, you know? Okay, Black Americans are coming to the motherland. Fantastic, have fun, you know, like.
And you almost made me spit out this wine.
You know what I mean? Because we've seen Whitney Houston land at the airport, kiss the ground, and then like be a diva when it comes to her fans. So we're just like, okay, you guys are prostituting our culture. You want our culture, but you don't want us. So it's cool. Enjoy.
Okay. Girl,
have fun.
Yes.
And then when, you know, I was trying to help them out with something, and then they said, you know, oh, can you be a speaker? We've got a slot. And I was like, oh, Shem, okay, I won't charge you. Doing the Lord's work, fine, whatever. And so on day one, and my friend Asanda was like, Samke, we have to go, because I was like, no, I'll arrive on the day that I'm speaking and leave. You know, what am I going to do with these people? She's like...
You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying at dinner last night, Samke.
Yes. I've been to the US. I've got a valid US visa. You know, darling, I've stayed at the Waldorf. Like, I've eaten, like jambalaya and stuff. Like, great, fantastic. Have fun in my country, have fun. Where am I going? And she's like, no, friend, we've been wanting a girls' trip. Please come with me, please come. I was like, oh, Sunday is so annoying. Fine. I literally, took my cupboard. I was just like, I took the clothes I wear, put my hands in the cupboard, put them in the suitcase. I didn't fold anything. Just like, Auntie, come take my suitcases down. Got in the car. And so the naming ceremony with Gogo Dineo, where she had amapai, which is a traditional cloth that has animals and has spiritual meaning and names on it. And the expectant looks from the women in that, under that tent, under that gazebo, on their knees, looking expectantly to say, please tell me who I am. Oh, in that moment, I was just like, these things we take for granted. When they were burning impepo, which is sage, and you guys were looking, and and it was so new to you, and I'm just like, but it's just impepo. Said to me, I, as the motherland, right, have carried you by my side. These are my children who were lost and who've had to find their own way back home, right?
Hold on right there. Hold on real quick, because I want to make sure the great girlfriends get this.
Get it together, Brandis.
I have to make sure they get this. So the first night of the retreat, we had a naming ceremony, because they may not have known that. We had a naming ceremony.
African names.
African names, and under each name, there was a meaning that was under each name. That meaning didn't necessarily mean that it translated to who you were. So they had, what's Gogo? Who was there? Gogo Dinero, who was there, who was a spiritual advisor?
Spiritual healer, traditional healer, yeah.
Traditional healer.
Medium as well, because she connects with the ancestors.
And so she was there, and she was calling her names, and she was giving us some kind of revelation based on her name. So that was when you felt this sense of...
Yes, I mean, my name, Samke means we've been blessed with a beautiful gift. To me, it's just like, great, I'm cute, keep it moving. But I didn't realize that, I'm connected, one, to my ancestors, but also even in terms of the African heritage, our names speak over your life. It's your parents' wish for your life. It's not the first 3 syllables of the father's name and the last 3 of,
I can't. I'm weak right now.
You understand?
Taikisha.
It's
I get you.
La Cochin, whatever. So, and I've taken that for granted. And for me, it was also to say, do you realize? Because I've lived with neglect. Both my parents went on to get married and raise their children. I've always felt, why not me? And in that moment, I felt that the continent was saying, do you realize I've raised you by my side? And here are my children who have now come home. Right? And in that moment, because, yes, I do have hippie vibes and spiritual stuff and visions and stuff. And in that moment, I felt something say, tell them I'm sorry. Tell them I'm sorry that I didn't come looking for my babies. Right?
My babies. I know.
And so in that moment, I was just like, you and what army? I was saying, so where was I? I was born 33 years ago. I am slavery. I wasn't there. And I ignored it. And the following day, we were chatting, and I was on one of the panels, and something said, you better say it. And I said, but who am I? Who am I to say I'm sorry? I'm Samke from a small town. These are all people that could afford to pay what they paid for this retreat. Who am I? And so I raised, and I was like, okay, fine, just do it. I raised my hand, and they said questions are closed. I was like, whoo, thank Jesus, I tried.
Who's you're right, the ancestors, you said I tried.
Yes. I was like, I tried, I'm off the hook. I raised my hand, time was up, it means the universe try, speak to Asanda, tell Asanda to say it. Right?
Yes.
Then the following day, the motherhood panel was after my panel. And you know me, because I've been working.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be retreating nothing. I'm trying to charge forward, in terms of my workshop and so I wasn't trying to retreat nothing. And so the motherhood panel was after mine, and I thought just be seen to be listening to other people so you don't look arrogant. Like you just want to hear the sound of your own voice. And in that moment, that voice said, I dare you to leave this room without saying it. So I was like, oh my word. Fine. And even in the way I said it was very apologetic. I said, I don't know why I felt this. I don't know who I am to be saying this. please, in the humblest way possible, I'm speaking on behalf of the ancestors. I haven't been ordained as like an ancestral spokesperson, like nothing. You know what I mean? I don't wear beads. I'm wearing a tag.
I'm telling you, hilarious.
So I was like, I'm not good enough for this message, because this is a 400-year-old message. This is not just African Americans, all Africans at that diaspora. Who am I to say it? By the powers vested by who? And so that's why I just said, guys, I just feel like as Africans, I'm sorry that we didn't come looking for you as a mom or a family member would do for their own that's been kidnapped, because that's what you were. You didn't travel to the US. You were kidnapped. And we just chilled. And we're like, okay, they're fine. But as I've been reflecting on it, I realized that how Africa has been portrayed to you and how America has been portrayed to us is very intentional. Mm-hmm. Africa has been portrayed to you as a place you don't want to go. Mm-hmm. Because guess what? You're cheap labor. Mm-hmm. And America has been portrayed as the promised land where you guys are having fun without us. You guys are okay. That's how we're just like, let's just struggle with the white people here. They're good. But once we start talking and you guys say, I want to belong, we're like, really? But you guys, like, we thought you looked down on us. And you're like, no, we thought you looked down on you. And you're like, really? And you're like, no, but you guys have this and that, and you're educated and you speak so well. And you're like, no, but you guys twang, like you guys are ha, and we copy you.
I said her. That's what we do. Yes.
And we copy you.
Yes.
And then you realize, no. Guess who's been holding and translating the conversation on the line? Guess who's been intercepting the letters between the two family members? Right. I'm good where I am. Mm-hmm. And you guys are just like, yo, Africa flies. Mm-hmm. No internet lions running around. And we get offended when you say that. We get offended when people say, oh, you know Netflix? And you're just like, idiot. You know?
Yes.
So when you say, I want to come home, you're like, oh my goodness. My sisters, my cousins, Kim Bondi and Asanda, they even look alike. Like, how weird is that?
Yeah.
And you're just like, and that's why I even said, I'm embarrassed you guys are at a lodge. I'm embarrassed you're at a public place. For me, Imara should be, you're coming to my house. Mm-hmm. We're all meeting during the day to converse, to whatever, to break bread, but you're coming to sleep at home. Mm-hmm. How do you go home and not have food? Yeah. And sleep on your bed? How do you come home and not have somewhere where you say, Christmas, I'm taking the kids there again and again and again and again, because that's home. So it's I know I don't have the power to affect what I feel, but at the same time, I'm humbling myself enough to say, I know this is not me saying it. And, you know, you said something about, I even envy the fact that you can connect to the ancestors. That stuck with me. Because for me, it's an irritation. I smell my dad. I dream about, I see him. I can manifest, you call it manifestation. For us, it's literally invoking the ancestors to say, go before me. Right? I can make things happen. And that's why our culture had to be removed from you. Because you would have staged an uprising like nothing they'd seen in the US if you knew how to invoke the army that walks with you. And they don't leave you. You just don't know how to open the door.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
So, like...
Yes, and it was meant to keep us apart. This conversation... If the manipulators had their way continually, yes, this conversation was never meant to happen, because the understanding that we have now can never be taken from us. The gift of you calling it home and and welcoming us with love and embrace and reminding us of who we are.
Yeah.
You don't know the value in that. The apology, the power, and the courage that you took to apologize, and the strength that you did have, that you do possess, that you gave to us, that we can now, like, I paid that forward already. Call my husband. I've been telling my sisters, I'm like, this was so powerful because it was such a healing moment that I just felt a surge of healing, a strength. I've never had the chance to even understand the envy that I felt. I didn't even have the chance to understand it. Because I didn't know that it was something that I even needed, because it's been kept for so long. We just don't even know what we're missing out on. This made us real African Americans.
Yes.
Yeah, because we say it.
I don't know what that means.
We say African American, but we feel no connection sometimes. And we just say it.
Yeah.
Because that's our way of saying, you don't own all of us.
Yeah, we say
we
it,
American,
but we don't feel
African-American.
It really became real for me on this trip that I'm actually African American.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's what happened to you is very similar to what the government does when, with corruption and looting, especially, unfortunately, African governments. The only way to get away with continued corruption is to blind you to the fact that actually what they're taking is already yours. I don't, you don't need my permission to be here.
Right.
It's yours. That's the tension I felt in apologizing, because it almost said, you are no more African than them for you to almost, I now give you permission to, But that's my own personal biases, humaneness, weakness of the flesh, ego, if you will. But you have as much right to be here, whether or not you speak the language, whether or not you have the name. It's who you are. Yeah? And my responsibility, right? As a beneficiary of African privilege, which is what? A name. A home I can sit and look at a white man and say, go back to your country. A rootedness. That privilege says, then you have the responsibility to make sure your brothers and sisters know they also have a seat here at home.
You did that. You absolutely did and do. And hundreds of thousands of women that listen to our podcast around the world are feeling the sentiment and are gaining the healing.
Absolutely.
And the connection and the hope.
Yeah.
I wish they could.
We're picking up, y'all. We're trying to pick up.
I know,
we are
because
just
we're
over here.
in like, it almost feels like a TV moment, because it's so hard to explain what we feel right now.
But God is in this conversation. God knows what we need, when we need it, how we need it, the vessels that are essential to that. None of it is by chance. And what I consider this is such a divine appointment that we will all be able to be here and exchange this dialogue, that you would bring so much to us.
Thank you.
So generously.
Thank you.
From the bottom of your heart. From the bottom of your heart to us. With so much humility and grace and joy and delight and hope that we would gain something more than we've had. We will never forget that. We will never forget it. We will always hold it, because it is that much of a gift to us. We can now take that, give that to our children.
Yes.
To be able to have that conversation with my children is so powerful. To have an African husband who's not accepted in his home, and to be able to go to him with that same conversation, and he said, wow, that made so much sense for me. I don't know if you'll ever get it, but I promise you, with this blood in my veins and Brandon's blood in her veins, I can promise blood in her veins. Because we like that. We won't stop telling people about how Samke gave us this most powerful, loving, gracious, abundant gift of healing. and identity, and you protected something as a mother would, because that was a motherhood panel, and with the mother in you, I just felt like you were like giving us, you enveloped us in a way that we just can't even. I don't know.
I know.
Y'all,
I'm like, at this moment, I feel like the only thing there is left to be said is for Samke to do an American accent.
bring it back, Samke.
Because right now, Sybil and I are both like, you guys can hear it. Because it's, man, it was a wound I didn't know I had. So that's why it's just, so all these tears are unexpected tears.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sentiment I never had, so it's not mine.
Yeah.
And I guess I also feel like a little bit uncomfortable when people thank me, because I'm just like, it's not me.
But it came through you.
You know?
And you were a vessel, and you allowed yourself to be a vessel for it. And I'm the same way. I hate taking credit for things sometimes.
Yes,
I'm really bad about it. And sometimes we have to be okay with being the vessel.
Yeah.
And people have to have somebody to thank.
Yeah.
It came through you, so they're thanking you. We're thanking you.
Thank you too. And and I guess for me, like, I'd want more of my African brothers, sisters too, because we love you guys. We actually love you guys, but we were just annoyed with you because we thought you didn't love us back. You know?
And we had this conversation because we thought, we were like, I can't go over there and talk to her because, like, she's gonna think like I just didn't feel enough.
That is
as an African American.
Where do we start?
Where do we start?
Really?
Where do we start? How does the conversation start?
Last night at dinner, I was overwhelmingly uncomfortable with the amount of like wow that I was getting.
Yeah.
The fact that great girlfriends, we are here and you are there. We know you're with us, but as we talk through all the ways that you guys were preparing, in the preparations that we all make are ultimately, they are reflections of our personality, yes, but they're somewhat facades because we're hoping that we can cover enough so that people can see us in a way that will allow us to allow them to be convinced that we belong in a space. And you're so much just as you are that it hurt my heart so bad to think that you would ever have to dilute your identity in any way to come into a room with us. And then I thought about how I got braided, Kim brought cloth, Brenda has cloth, and how we were all trying our best because our best intent was to honor one
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
the best intent. We wanted to present a gift.
Intent.
Here we are in our best gift. This is how much we love each other, but the manipulators have made it so divisive that we feel like we have to do that.
Yeah.
We can't just come. You get what I mean? It's almost, our intent was well, but the fact that is something we have to consider hurt me so bad because we should never have to go home and dress up. Who dresses up to go to their mama house?
Yes,
Nobody.
Come as you are. And this is what I'm saying, that
You
come
know?
as you are. And for the thing is with us, how we interpret it is, oh, okay, Whitney Houston, Oprah, whoever will now all of a sudden come, wear kente cloth like Sunny Bonani, Naomi Campbell, Amandla, wear like African beading. But if you look at the rest of her Instagram on a normal day, she doesn't do that. So we just like, are we a circus to you? Putting on a show for the gram, for social media, because you're now here. All right, continue, but we'll ignore you. Won't participate. We won't help you make a spectacle of us. And that's why I'm saying, I now understand from your point how you were trying to connect because you didn't realize actually this is your birthright. Because if you come as you are in your Levi's, your Coach, you know, I'm just like, yes, sister, you just like...
You heard the American accent, right?
Yes, honey, you're just like, guys, where do we go clubbing?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
This is, you're not trying to get my culture. But if you're coming here to be in a lodge and take pictures with zebras and then go back again, I'm just like, you don't know me. You don't know home. And home is not what the media has depicted to you. And home is not what you see in the picture books from hundreds of years ago. And home is not coming to America. If you want home, I'm going to take you clubbing. I'm going to get us a bucket of Dom Perignon and we're going to twerk to Cardi B. Because that's home.
I love it.
Because that's home.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I'm saying, that we need more. You need to immerse yourself. It needs to be a relationship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not with, what is the continent?
Yeah.
the molecular makeup of the ground here is probably very similar to the US, bar some indigenous plants. Africa is me.
Yeah.
And it's Asanda. And if you're not connecting to us, what have you connected to?
Yeah. So good. Samke, I know we could keep you forever.
I know, and we promised her because, guys, she from the very beginning she was like, I don't know if I have time. We were like, but our great girlfriends have to meet you, and I didn't want them to meet you over Skype. So we're saying we can do Skype. I was like, no, we have to have her here because it wouldn't be the same. You wouldn't have the same feeling over Skype. How can the great girlfriends reach you? Like, how can they work with you?
Okay, guys. So I'm on. My name is Samke Mhlongo. So S for sugar, A, M for mother, K-E, and my surname is Mhlongo, M for mother, H, L for Lima, O, N for November, G-O, and I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn under my name, and then Twitter and Instagram is just Samke, SAMKE.com. So spell it out at JUSTSAMKEDOTCOM for mother. Drop me like a DM. I'm a brand SA ambassador actually. So I do, I've been endorsed to sort of like help people understand SA, invest in SA. So anything around coming to South Africa, anything around doing business in South Africa, if you need information, I'm here, I'm willing, I'm able, I'm happy. And more than anything, it's your birthright. You're not inconveniencing me. When I go home to my grand's house, my cousins will vacate the best bedroom to welcome me. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's that sense of feeling I have as well to say, Imara should be a welcome home party. I'm disappointed there aren't more Africans here, but it's the conversation and the education we need to have to say, these people aren't here to just sort of, Africa's one big theme park. They want to connect with you, the person. Mm-hmm. And once we start positioning it that way, as in connecting with the person as opposed to the big five and safaris and social media content, I think you'll see that the turnout will be very different because we too are also tired of being treated like a theme park.
Yeah, I look forward to that. I think that's going to happen. I think we're both going to go back to our friends with this conversation, right?
Yes.
Because this isn't just Sybil and I. It's everyone has the same feeling.
Yeah.
We all want to connect.
Yeah.
So, great girlfriends, I hope y'all felt this. I hope you fully absorb this. I hope you share this with your great girlfriends. I feel like what we got today was like the Oprah Winfrey show on the great, like it was something that was really special that just happened and that you guys were a part of. And we have to say thank you to you. So thank you for being open, for extending your time on the resort to come have a podcast recording with us. It means the world to us.
I wish I
talk
could
about
do
money
more.
on another time. we will.
I wish I could do more.
We will. No, you will.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, great girlfriend. All right.
We could not end this podcast without thanking our amazing husbands.
Yes, thank you, Kwaku.
And thank you so much, Rich Daniel.
And our beautiful children, thank you, Sam and Dylan.
And thank you, Miss Sky Daniel.
And thank you to all of you, great girlfriends, for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter.
You can check us out on our social, on Instagram,
The Great Girlfriends,
on Twitter,
_Great GFS,
and on Facebook,
The Great Girlfriends.
And please make sure that you join our Facebook group, which is over 16,000 women strong.
Absolutely. And make sure you listen every single Wednesday on iTunes, Spotify, Podcast Bean, Podcast Republic, Google Play, and every other podcasting service.
Absolutely.
Be sure to post your questions, share with your friends, keep listening, and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're signing off.
Peace.
Peace.